We're gonna try this again. My name is Michelle Owens, and I have severe anxiety and panic disorder, and I cannot shoot a video. I'm making this video because I want to help end the stigma, because I think it's important that we tell our stories to help each other, and because I think, actually, I know there's someone out there who's a college/high school student who is looking for answers or help, and I'd like to talk to you. I remember having my first panic attack when I was 9. I think I had them before that, but the first time I really remember thinking that, oh, I probably had a panic attack was when I was 9. I would stay up really late, not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't stop moving and thinking. I just couldn't stop being, and my mom would come in and be like, "Why aren't you asleep?" And it wouldn't be like I wasn't trying. I would try to sleep. I wanted to sleep, but I couldn't. And it happened 1 or 2 times a month for a while, and I don't think anyone thought that was normal. I just don't think my parents were like, yeah, our 9-year-old who's in the 3rd grade is having a panic attack, because I was 9. What did I have to be panicked over? Crayons? No. I was actually officially diagnosed when I was 11, which is a lot earlier than most. I was lucky. In the 7th grade, there was this stomach flu that went around, and I got it, and I got really sick. And I got anxious for some reason a couple weeks later, and I thought that I was going to get sick again, because I felt so physically sick. I thought that I was getting the flu again, and that if I ate something, I would throw up. I understand now that that is flawed logic, but the thing about anxiety is that it's not even that I find things to worry about, it's that things that other people would not worry about seem like major threats to me. My flight or fight response is freeze, and then don't fight, or don't fly, just sit there and panic. My mom thought that I had some vindictive superbug super flu, and I went to the doctor, and they gave me a bedpan because I was shaking so much they thought I was gonna throw up at any minute. And my doctor came in, and he had a clipboard, and he looked at me, and he sat down, and he looked at my mom and was like, "I think your kid is anxious." I was lucky because my parents had experience and they understood a bit about anxiety and mental illness. A lot of people don't. If you're in that situation, it's okay. It's not your fault. Be patient and give them time. And so when my doctor recommended that I see a therapist or talk to someone, my mom and my dad jumped on that, and I saw her. I began therapy at age 11. I've been in and out, mostly in since then, and I'm 19 now. In middle school, no one thought I was any more anxious than the rest of us, because it is a truth universally acknowledged that middle school sucks. It gets better. It can't get any worse than middle school, so it has to get better. And then in high school, my freshman year and most of my sophomore year, I did pretty good. It didn't seem like I was anxious. It is not something that people see when they look at you, and I think that can make it hard sometimes for people to understand. I did well in school. I was a theater kid. I was in marching band and concert band, and I was on speech team. And I did pretty well in speech team. I had a lot of extracurriculars. I worked really hard at school, and I was doing good. And then I did less good. My sophomore year, I started sleeping less, having panic attacks in my sleep. I still have panic attacks in my sleep. I still sometimes wake up with my legs drenched in sweat, and I've cocooned myself into my bed, and my mom would have to come in and roll me like I was a sushi roll. And I had panic attacks in school. I got really sick easily. When you're stressed, your immune system, it doesn't work as well as it should. So if there was a cold going around and I got it, other kids would bounce back in 3 days. I was down for the count. It would take me 2 weeks to bounce back from a simple cold. And we didn't think it was related to my anxiety. In fact, at the time, I wasn't in therapy because we thought that once I left middle school, I was fine. And it took like 7 doctors before someone was like, well, have you ever gone to a psychiatrist? And I hadn't. And so I went, and she looked at me and she's like, why aren't you medicated? Which obviously I was there, like, that was the goal, but it begged the question. No one had ever seen me and thought anxiety. I'd seen a lot of doctors, and none of them thought that my physical symptoms were caused by anxiety. I think that's the one thing that people don't know, is that with anxiety disorders, it's not just the thoughts, it's the physical symptoms that really, really take the hit. It's hard. It's physically hard to withstand all of that pressure. Junior year, I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. The line between anxiety and depression is really fuzzy. You can be so anxious that you get depressed, you can be depressed, and then you get anxious about being depressed. But I had that kind of feeling where I couldn't get out of bed, and it was because the day would wear so heavy on me. Just the things I had to do, even like, when I mean things I had to do, just going to classes, going to band practice, going to speech team practice, things I love to do. Just the idea of all that time to like mess up during my day, it terrified me. My junior year is when things got really bad. Everything I've described intensified, and by the end of my junior year, it was decided that I would leave school early, and I went to a outpatient facility for treatment. When I say outpatient, I mean that I didn't stay in the hospital. I went to the hospital and came home, and I was there for 5 or 6 weeks, and it was intensive therapy. I was with other people who had anxiety disorders, and it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's actually hard to tell this story because it's so far from what I know now. Sometimes when I get really bad, I will get glimpses of what that used to be like, and it will blow my mind. I don't know how my body withstood it. And I say when I get really bad because I still have anxiety. It doesn't go away. It's the hard truth, but it doesn't go away. I got so mad at the doctors at the hospital because they couldn't fix me. Like I came here and I thought you would fix me. Like 2 steps. Come in, get fixed, leave, all good. But that's not how it works. I'm 19 now. I'm a freshman in college. I live on the other side of the country from my family, which is something I never thought I'd do. I never thought I could be so far from home. And I love it. I have great friends. I'm doing well in school. Not so much in bio, but you can't win them all. It's not like everything's roses, but it's good. And even on the days when it's not so good, I have these skills I can use to manage my anxiety and to help me get through it. It's cheesy, but it gets better. It really does. If you're in high school or college, it's hard. Growing up's hard, going to college is hard. These are not new ideas. What I do want to say is that, and this is difficult, because we do romanticize mental illness with young adults and adolescents, but there is a difference between stressing about college and being obliterated by the worries and the thoughts about it. And there's a difference between being sad because you're away from home and barely even making it to class every day. And really, the only way to know if that difference is as severe as you think it is to go talk to someone. If you or someone you know seems to be having these excessive worries or thoughts or seems depressed, talk to someone. Even if your family doesn't understand, even if they don't believe you, even if your friends cannot handle what's going on, there are people who understand and who can and will help. If you're in high school, you probably have social workers, counselors, a school psychologist, and if you don't have those things, there's someone probably in the administration who knows how to get you help. And a lot of schools have their teachers trained to recognize mental illness. Go to someone you trust. Talk. Tell them you need help. It is terrifying. It is worth it. I promise. If you're in college, it's pretty easy. Go to your health center, and I guarantee you there are some psychologists there. College can be a really rough time, and it doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means that you need help. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are not being ridiculous. I know that it seems that way. I have said to myself a lot of bad things when I was sick. A lot of bad things, but you're going to have to work hard, but you can get better. And I promise you that it is so worth the work. You probably have no idea how many people around you in school, in your sports, in your activities, are going through the same thing you're going through. In fact, at least 1/3 of Americans will have anxiety at one point in their life. Lean on each other. I'm not saying that you have to greet people with your name and your diagnosis code, but talk to your friends and your family. Give them time. Give them literature if you want to. But tell someone. My name is Michelle Owens, and I have anxiety. And I talk about it because I want to make sure that anyone else who does not feel alone and knows that there is no shame and it is okay. You can get better. It may not seem like it now, but you can. I promise. I'm so grateful that you listened. And please, take care. Alright, let's do this. Ending stigma. Alright. A panic attack sometime in our lives. That wasn't right. We should just start over. Okay. People who are in high school and college, because that's the garage door. And that ruined the video. So, take 3. Anxiety? No, it's not how all the time. That's not true. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, take 5. Don't do that. Don't. What the? Well, nope, we're gonna start over. That's our, what 9-year-old has a panic attack? We need to start this one over again. I don't know who you are or why I'm pointing at you, but you. Okay, done this 5th time. 5th time? Yeah, 5th time. Help yourself. You know what? We're gonna start over. Oh god.